Welcome back and thank you so much for joining us. We will be having quite a lot of heavy content this morning. We spoke about Oscar Pistorius, we just spoke about climate change. We're going to politics. We're going to be speaking about the Dagga Party in no time. But just to balance things out, we're going to have music for you as well. Dr. Sello he is performing for us and he's going to be performing a little bit later on in the show this morning. He will also be playing at the Birchwood Ekurhuleni Comes Alive Jazz Festival this coming Friday. So don't worry, we kind of give you the hard-hitting stuff, but we also make sure that you have a good day with some music. All right, let's turn our attention to this story now. The Dagga Party applied this week to the High Court in Cape Town and Pretoria for cannabis to be legalized, as they say this could give the country's economy a multi-billion-rand boost. According to the Dagga Party, the legislation of cannabis in designated restaurants and bars will attract more tourists to the country. The party wants that sections of the Drug and Drug Trafficking Act, as well as the Medicines and Related Substance Act, to be amended so that cannabis can be used for medical purposes, as this plant, according to the party, can be used in the treatment of different ailments. Well, joining us in our Cape Town studio this morning is Jeremy Acton. He is the leader of the Dagga Party. A very good morning to you and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Ayanda. Thank you for having me.
I'm sure you no doubt know the controversy that your statement and your request causes, but give us a little bit of thought behind why it is that you're making this appeal yet again.
Well, you've just had an interview about climate change, so I'm going to concentrate on that now because 85% of our economy rests in the energy sector. At the moment, we have taken coal and other fossil carbon and oil, and we've burnt it, and we've put this carbon dioxide up into the atmosphere, and it's causing climate change. We need a technology that can take the carbon out of the atmosphere and bring it back into our economy. And that technology should ideally be solar powered and water efficient and drought resistant. And it should also be a technology that allows everyone to participate in the production of energy. Now, cannabis has always been a resource which could be turned into petrol. Generally, you use the inside of the sticks after removing the fibers to get what is a cellulose product, and this can be turned into any kind of plastic or petrol. So instead of buying petrol with dollars from other countries, we could have our own farmers producing fuel for our economy, and that which we don't use for energy but we use in manufacturing would then count as carbon sequestration. So if we built a house out of cannabis, which is chopped sticks mixed with lime and making blocks out of that, we would have sequestered carbon from the atmosphere, and that house could even earn carbon credits for having used cannabis to build that house. So we have to get off fossil carbon, and I believe we have to grow cannabis on a mega scale and allow the regulations to include everybody in production.
Okay, so you're focusing on the beneficiation of it and not so much the physical consumption, but it is known as a gateway drug. How do you go about preventing the abuse thereof? For example, it could hamper productivity. If everybody takes a puff and they go to work and they become lethargic, how do you mitigate the abuse of the drug?
We use the same laws as we use against alcohol in mitigating the harms for alcohol. Cannabis is less harmful than alcohol and tobacco. There have never been fatalities resulting from cannabis use. And I think much of what you say about the gateway drug issue is actually it's false science. People have noted that heroin users use cannabis between heroin fixes to deal with muscle pains and tremors. So it looks to the science that, yes, maybe it is a gateway drug leading to heroin, but there are millions of Dagga users who do not even think of heroin. And we are being penalized by this science, which is actually confusing cause and effect. And we feel that cannabis use is a healthier option than using alcohol or tobacco or any of the other substances that people would like to think of using.
The legalization of marijuana has had various degrees of success all over the world, some more than others. In others, it's really done nothing for the economy, except attract people who just want to smoke weed as tourists. So I want to know from you, how do you think that you will fare in being successful in this particular venture? Is this just an attempt to get more following because you're not being taken seriously?
I think that South Africa, because we are survivors and we know what is good for us, will actually choose legalization over criminalization. Do we really want our children to be harassed and searched and criminalized by police? Or do we want to actually give them a resource which will reduce poverty and allow everyone to participate and also boost the tourism economy? But I also want to say that this is also about rights. Rights as consenting mature adults to choose what they do with their life. The state says, we have to protect you from harm by criminalizing you. But they don't go and criminalize rugby players and dangerous
because
sports
of their choices
and protect them.
Yes,
so we as humans, free humans, have a right to choose what we do as long as we don't harm others. And if I'm sitting meditating with a joint and I'm not harming others, I believe the state has got no business with my activities.
I think that's quite a poignant point to leave it there. Food for thought. What do you think at home? Thank you so much for joining us. Jeremy Acton, the leader of the Dagga Party. Quick ad break. When we come back, music, perhaps to let you digest what you've just heard.